Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Karlie. I'm coming to you from Calgary, Canada. This is my space where I talk about all of the projects I am working on, and I like to show mostly my knitting. Sometimes we have some sewing in there and some other things too. Today I had a thought about taking this time to reflect on my 2023 knitting plans / goals. Now that we're about halfway through the year, I thought it would be interesting to see how many items I've made from that list, how many items I think I will scratch off that list, and then the items that I still want to make. So let's get started with all of the items that I have made so far. Okay, so I'm back now. I've got my pile of garments / accessories that I've made throughout the year. And did I grab all of them? Yes, I did. And I thought we could just go through the list that I made, and we'll start with the sweater category and work our way from there and see what I've made so far and what I haven't. Now, I did make this video. It was January 16th, 2023, and these were some of my goals / plans that I wanted for the year. I think that I made a pretty doable list for the amount of items that I wanted to make throughout the year. And I think for the most part, I still have a lot of interest in making a lot of these. But as we all know, things change throughout the year and your style may change, or just where you're at in life changes. So do your knitting plans and the projects that you're making. So let's start with our sweater category. Now, the first one I have on here is the Boho style Mosaic Cardigan by Irene. And this is one that I've been eyeing up for a really, really long time, and I knew that it would make such a great addition to my wardrobe. The only thing that's been holding me back is that it is mosaic style and does take a little bit longer to do. However, I think that's just on the end of, or at the bottom of the hems for the body and the arms. So I don't think it will take too long as far as color work goes, but it is still a bigger project. So that's what's been holding me back the most for this. As far as style goes and what I think, like how much I'll wear it, I know I would wear it a lot, and it still is very much my style. So I do want to keep this on the list of things that I want to knit in the future. I just don't know how realistic it will be for me to get it done in 2023. Since we're already halfway through the year and I have a lot of more plans ramping up and a lot of test knits that I want to get through before we hit November and December, I just don't see myself getting to this project. But I want to keep it in my favorited items and add it to my Q1 Ravelry someday, but maybe not this year. The next we have is the Tulip pattern by Melody Hoffmann. This one for sure is still on my list. I want to cast this on maybe at the end of August and have it by the fall. I don't think it'll take too long. From what I've heard and from what I've read, it's pretty simple pattern by just being like a stockinette raglan, and it's just something I really have to have in my wardrobe. I thought that I would have cast it on by now, but that's okay. Other things got in the way. As you know, if you've been around for a little while, I got carried away with some test knits. So a lot of these patterns have been put on the back burner, but definitely this one is going to stay on my 2023 knitting plans, and hopefully I can buy the yarn and cast this one on within the next month or two. I am not sure on what color of yarn I want to do yet. I know on the original 2023 knitting plans video, I did want something, I think I wanted something pretty neutral and beige, and I'm still contemplating that. A green would be nice, but I have been knitting a lot with green lately, so I'm not too sure. Maybe a pink or like a nice floral color would be appropriate for this as well. But we will see. I have to do some research on what kind of yarn I want to use, and then I'll probably go from there. But definitely keeping this one on, and maybe you'll see this showing up on my YouTube channel in the next little bit. The next item under sweaters is the Tweedy Shrug by Hedgehog Fibres. I believe this one is a free pattern, and I really like this one because of how the model wore it with like a black top and black jeans. It just looked like a really nice slouchy sweater to throw on around home, and something that would be great to wear while knitting in the winter and cold months. I really wanted to knit this with the Hedgehog Fibres Tweedy yarn, but from where I'm at, this goes for about $45 per skein at my local knitting shop. Yeah, my local yarn shop. There we go. And that's just kind of out of my budget at the moment. It would be turned into a really expensive sweater. So I am going to find some alternative yarn for this pattern, and I want to keep it on my list, but I don't think it will be for 2023. So it will go along with the boho style mosaic cardigan. It'll stay on my favorited list, and one day it will be added to my queue, but I'm in no rush to add this or to have this before 2023 ends. So I only had 3 sweater patterns for 2023. I hadn't touched any of them yet, but I'm hopeful by the end of this year that I'll have at least the Tulip pattern by Melody Hoffmann done, or at least started, and I'll be happy with that. The other 2 will stay on my favorited list, and maybe one day they'll come to life. The next category I made was tees and tanks. So the first one on the list was the Soho top by Caidree. Now this is a really popular garter stitch tank top. It is actually knit in the round with the garter stitch, and I think it has like a faux seam down the sides. It is really cute. When I first saw it come out, I loved it. I thought I needed to cast it on immediately. And then other things got in the way and I didn't cast it on. And then I started to dislike the pattern and the look of it further into the year. And then just recently I started to like it again. So I'm not too sure about this one. This is kind of a hit or miss pattern for me, but I have seen other people knit it and I fall in love with it again. Once I see it knit on other bodies and other people and with different yarn, I start to really like the pattern and the design and the shape and the simplicity of it all over again. So this is one that I also think will stay on my list of things that I want to knit up eventually, but it's not something that I necessarily want or need to have by the end of 2023, especially since we are in summer already and I have some other plans and a lot of other whips on the go. I don't see myself getting this one done before summer, so there's no point in trying to get it done before the end of 2023. Next on the list is the Colette tee by Witre Design. Now this is something that I actually knit and can show you today. This one I knit early on in the year and I used Sadness Garn Duo, what was it called? Dark Rose Powder. And this is my Colette tee. So it is just a really simple, basic raglan shirt sweater, and I absolutely loved the color of this dark rose powder. It's my first time using Duo yarn, which is a 50-50 blend of cotton and wool, I believe. And I think it took me about a week to finish this one. It was just really simple and addicting, and I kind of had a lot of free time at that part of my life. So it really did fly off the needles. It was my first time doing short row shaping, and I remember doing it and having all these gaps, not really knowing what I was doing, and then looked up the video and fixed it all, and now I can understand how all of those short row shaping works. I wore this a lot in the cooler months. It's a bit hot for this now. On cooler summer days, I can wear this, but it's definitely a fall, winter, spring shirt. I'll put up footage of and put pictures of myself wearing it. I think this is a really flattering color for myself. It kind of brings out the rosiness in my cheeks, which I love. and I do love all the colorways from Sadness Garn's yarn. I think they're beautiful, and this was one that I just can't get enough of. I did have a little bit of scraps left over of this, and those scraps will be going into my scrappy shawl that I'm making. So this top here, I would definitely make again, and I plan on making again. It's one of those nice staple pieces that are simple and you can have in your wardrobe and wear it and accessorize it and make it look either like dressed up or dress it down for a more casual look. I think I would do something in more neutral color next time, since I did do a nice pinkish reddish kind of like wine color. So I definitely recommend this pattern if you haven't made it before. One thing I did notice with it is that it was, and maybe I wasn't sure at the time because I was kind of new to garment making, that it could have been my inexperience, but I thought that the pattern was a little bit difficult to understand at some points. And again, that just could have been my lack of experience, and maybe now I'd understand it a little more, but I also thought that it could have just been because of translation, because I believe the designer is German, if I'm correct in thinking that. But overall, aside from that, it turns out to be like a really beautiful, well-fitting top, in my opinion. Next on the list is Ripple Crop by Jessie Maed Designs. I did end up making this one, however, I modified it so it was a tank top, and I used Cascade Pima Ultra in the colorway Sage. Once all of these clothes have been folded, so there might be a little bit of creasing in here. I also really love this top. It was super fun and easy. It's just all around 2x2 ribbing. It's bottom up, and then you separate for the front and back panels, and then you do a 3 needle bind off for the straps. And the original pattern does have sleeves, but when I was trying this on halfway through making it, I just fell in love with the shape on my body with this, and so I finished it just like that. And it's really nice because there's no additional edging or anything that you have to do once you're done knitting. This one is a really great layering piece over dresses or rompers. I also wear it on its own with high-waisted skirts or high-waisted jeans. This was also my first time knitting a Jessie Maed design, and I thought it was really clear. She has video tutorials for certain techniques in the pattern, and I haven't knit any more Jessie Maed design patterns since this one, but I definitely plan to in the future. This was also my first time using Cascade Pima cotton, and this cotton I find really silky smooth and enjoyable to work with. It's really nice to the touch, and it's super soft. The next one is the Lily pattern by Yumiko Alexander, and I also knit this one, and here she is. This is one of my favorite tops. And one of my most worn knit tops also. This is knit with We Are Knitters cotton in the colorway Copper. This was just some extra yarn I had in my stash, and it worked out perfectly for this. I wear this all the time this summer, and I wear it mostly over top of rompers and then sometimes with high-waisted skirts. I also wear it off the shoulder because it's kind of like a boat neck and it's quite wide, and I find that off the shoulder looks quite cute. This is actually knit flat and then seamed together. The sleeves are also knit flat, which I thought was a bit weird, so I knit them in the round and picked up stitches for them once I seamed the front and back panels together. I also shortened this top a bit. I think I did maybe 1 or 2 less lace repeats, so it's more of a cropped fit. And I absolutely love, love, love this top. I plan on making more already. I want to do some in like a silk yarn held double possibly, just to get a little bit more drape and to do the longer sleeve version. What else was I going to say? I can't remember, but one of my favorite tops ever. I'm very proud of this one. It's beautiful. It was kind of one of my first big lace projects, or maybe my first lace project ever, which I feel like might be quite ambitious for a first lace project. But when you take your time and, you know, use markers or whatever, it wasn't that bad. And there are some mistakes in it, but I'm okay with it. And again, I do want to make another one and kind of alter the shape and length a little bit for my next one. But this is just one of my favorite pieces. I love it so, so much. That concludes the tees and tanks section for my 2023 knitting plans. The next is we have accessories. The first on the list was the Beret number 2 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I have not knit this one yet, and I don't know if I will. I do really love it, and I would like it in my wardrobe, but it's not something that I feel like I really need right now, or if I feel like I will actually wear. So it'll stay on my things to knit for the future, but not one that I'm dying to have and need to have before the end of the year. Following that is the Poet Shawl by Sari, Nordlund. I really, really love the Poet Shawl and the beautiful design it has on it. I recently purchased the Poet top, or one of the Poet tops, and it just has such a beautiful lace motif on it, and the shawl is just as beautiful. I don't know if I'll get to making that shawl this year. Again, it's something that I'll probably keep on the list, but I don't feel like I need to have it this year. I am more inclined, I think, to make this next shawl, which is the Blush Boho Shawl by Andrea Mowry. This one just seems a little more attainable for me right now. If you've been following along for a little bit, you'll know that I've been doing a lot of garment knitting, and this one I feel like I could modify it and to make it mostly garter stitch, which I am craving right now. So I do want to cast this one on during the summer if I have time, or at least in the fall, and I would really, really love to have it by the end of the year. If it doesn't happen, that's okay. I'll be fine with it. But I do have it on my list of things to knit this year, and I would really love to use Pearl Soho linen quill in one of their pinkish colors, or perhaps even like a denim dusty blue. Kind of unsure, but definitely want to use Pearl Soho linen quill. Next, we've got the Musselburgh Hat by Ysolda Teague. I have casted that one on. It's not done, but let me grab it. And if you've watched some of my episodes before, you may have seen this, so I won't talk about it too much, but I will just show you. So there's proof that I've started a couple of things on this list. If I can get this project bag open. This zipper catches the yarn every time. And it's just an old, like, makeup bag. Ooh, getting a hot flash. Okay, it's out. Here's my Musselburgh hat. In my original 2023 plans video, I wanted to knit this with Hedgehog Fibres Iris, and that's exactly what I'm knitting it with. Paired it with some mohair, some pink mohair as well. But here you can see I'm chugging along here on the stockinette portion, and this one will be done by 2023. That's my goal anyway. Next is the Sophie Scarf by Petiteknit. So I did make this one. Here it is. A really cute small, I think it's small, or maybe it's maybe I did a medium size. I think they only come in small and large, but I may have done in between that. Doesn't matter. Here it is. It's a really beautiful mauve color. I did some leftover yarn from We Are Knitters, and it was the baby alpaca, I believe, and this colorway is mauve, if I remember correctly. Here is my Sophie Scarf. I wore this a little bit in the wintertime. The only thing with the alpaca is it was, my neck was very sensitive to it, with all the fibers sticking out. So I did wear it in my hair quite a few times, but it was hard for me to wear it quite close to my neck. This wasn't on the list, but I did end up making the Sophie Shawl afterwards. So the larger version of that little scarf. And I did this in Sirdar Snuggly DK in the colorway Tawny. I wore this a ton throughout the winter. It was perfect. It's not really a shawl, but it's called a shawl. Anyways, it's a nice bigger scarf to have. I really love the color. It's coming off a little beige on my screen here, but it's kind of like a pinkish, earthy pink. And it goes well with a lot of the things I have in my wardrobe. And I really love this one. I think if my Sophie scarf was made out of similar yarn, I'd wear that a whole lot more. And this one I have zero sensitivity to. Oh my goodness, that's it. I thought I had more. So yeah, I think I'm doing well so far with my plans. I'm really proud of myself. This isn't everything I've knit this year. These are just the items that I had on my plans for the year. So I've definitely strayed away from what I've had planned due to test knitting and just other things that have come up. But overall, I do want to go back to this list that I have here and tackle some of them. I think the first one that I'll get to is either, well, I think there's only two actually that I wanted to get back to. So it'll either be the Tulip sweater or the Boho blush shawl. So we'll see how that goes. I will show you what I'm currently working on right now, and I just cast it on today, but it's a fun little pair of socks. It is self-striping yarn by Tiny Human Knits. It's hand-dyed yarn in New Brunswick, Canada. And I've just started the slip stitch heel, and I'm doing a contrast color for the heel, and we'll also do this contrast color for the toe. And I casted these on today because my mom's birthday is coming up in about a month, so I just wanted to get a good start on these and not be scrambling about a week before her birthday. So I just wanted to do some cute little shorty socks that she can wear in the summer, and yeah, that's really what I'm working on mostly today. Also, I've given her hand knit socks for Mother's Day before, and she still hasn't worn them because she's afraid she'll ruin them. She just likes to have them on display, which is really sweet, but I really want her to wear them and wear them out, and that's okay. I can make her another pair. So I'm hoping she wears these ones, and I hope she likes these colors. These aren't even really my colors that I'm gravitated to, but I really wanted to try self-striping yarn, and this is what I could get my hands on, and overall I like them all together. I think they're fun. I hope she enjoys them, and again, it's just on your feet, so it's nothing like you have to commit too much to. So I will leave it all there for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're enjoying whatever you're working on at the moment. I'm also interested to know if you made plans for this year and if you're sticking to them, or if you've gone in a complete different direction. It's always interesting to see how everybody knits and how people plan, or some people don't. Yeah, I would love to know. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you all next time.